WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. Today I have something from Scotland, Auchentoshan Sauvignon Blanc finish, vibrant and fresh, exclusive limited edition for Amazon. Now, Amazon has released a Highland Park Viking tribe in the UK in 2018. They also released the Bowmore 19-year-old in the UK. Just recently, they released the 16-year-old Lafroig all over Europe. And now they have a new release here of a non-age statement Auchentoshan with 47% at around €35, so less than 40 some dollars. This was originally matured in ex-bourbon casks and then finished in Sauvignon Blanc, so white wine casks. Whiskey base number 142548. As I mentioned before, this is an Amazon exclusive. And the interesting thing is they say here on the bottle as well as here on the box, crafted to be enjoyed chilled. So what I did is about an hour ago, I filled up this little 1 dram, put it in the freezer for over an hour. I just let it chill. So the glass is kind of cold, very cold actually. And over here I have the normal room temperature whiskey. Auchentoshan triple distilled, yay. Belongs to Beam Suntory, yay. Now, before I go into the whiskey tasting, I just want to mention my my concern about a certain thing here. Amazon is big. I'm talking huge. And they have some leverage in the market. So imagine you go to a distillery or to a corporation of spirits, for example, Beam Suntory, or they could go to maybe someone else and say, hey, we want to buy, normal would be a batch of 100 barrels. Let's go for 10,000 barrels. Or just maybe even 1,000 barrels. Let's just buy them. I want something good. Maybe Bowmore 19 or Lafroig 16 or something very special. Yeah, we're going to push the price down so low that you can't say no, but we want to have this. And so you're going to say yes. Now, we have supermarkets over here in Europe, for example, Aldi and Lidl, and they have some very unique stock. 40, 30, 25, 20-year-old single malt whiskeys. A 26-year-old Irish whiskey in Aldi, for example, and. And there's certain bargaining power that you can actually have there. Now, those are all labeled under their own, they're all expressions of their own labels. These are not Amazon labels. These are real, true distillery labels. And these are exclusively available when you go to Amazon. You can't go into a whiskey shop. You can't go to a different whiskey.com or whatever else. You have to go to Amazon to buy these. And this is going to change. This is going to disrupt the whiskey market a little bit or maybe even massively in the next couple of years. Watch this space to see what's going to happen, at least in Europe. Imagine in the States, Amazon could sell whiskey, especially in those states that allow it, and maybe they would start actually having some type of lobbyism in the states that do not allow it. Ooh, would that be something you'd actually want? Because if Amazon opens the doors, you could actually have other specialists actually also being able to sell online. All right, enough of that fantasizing about the future. Let's go on to the Auchentoshan Sauvignon Blanc, 47%, about €35 over here. Now the nose is actually very, very nice. It is a non-age statement, excuse me. And the first thing I get is a nice wine gooseberry type of moment. I actually compared it here to the normal 12-year-old. Whoops, I need to get the normal 12-year-old here. I have too many Auchentoshans down there. Oh, sorry. I'm doing a very bad job. So this is the normal 12-year-old that I actually compared it to in my German video. And I must admit there was a massive difference between the 12-year-old, which was bourbon, vanilla, had a little bit of wood, and here the Sauvignon Blanc. The Sauvignon Blanc, that white wine, really just kicked in and changed this character massively compared to the 12-year-old. Now, what I've also done, as I said, is I put it in the freezer. Now, the first thing what happens is when you cool whiskey down is it loses a lot of its alcohol, a lot of its flavor. This is basically dead. I get a tiny little bit of a grape peel, white grape peel, maybe even a green grape peel, and I get a little bit of the freezer burn, which is not what I want, but I'm sorry. I need to defrost my freezer sometime soon. Now it says actually here, the color is pale gold. All right, and the nose is subtle grapefruit and orange with light peach sweetness. I don't get the peach. I'm sorry. I get the grape. I get the grapefruit. I get the sweet and the sour and so on. But the peach has really just eluded me so far. But hey, if you want to have it, you could. I don't like the nose at all with the frozen, the chilled variation. All right, Sláinte. Mm-hmm. Mm. This is surprisingly good. White grapes. I was in Hungary and I had one of the best white grape juices I've ever had in my entire life. Fabulous, directly from the grape producer there, and they packaged it. It was so good. That's what I'm getting, a very, very good wine influence here. I didn't even know that Sauvignon Blanc actually was in a barrel. I knew a lot of red wines are in barrels, but I didn't know that much white wine actually has a barrel finish. Now, my question is, the question of the day is, what wines do you know that actually have a barrel finish? Eric White, if you ever watch this video, you are the expert. You're the sommelier. Tell me what type of white wines actually have a barrel finish. That would be very, very interesting. The sniper, Eric. Now on the taste it says peppery with zesty notes. It means nothing. Zesty. What's zesty? Peppery just means a little bit of the alcohol really comes through with the 47%. The green grapes and the apples. So I get the green grapes. I don't really get the apples there. And it's a dry and peppery finish with a touch of salt, which I also don't get. One last thing I want to mention here is on the label. If you look at the back of the label, it used to be somewhat cleaner. If you take a look at the 12-year-old, you just have here basically produced by Beam Suntory there in Springburn in Glasgow, Scotland. Now we have Beam Suntory distribution coming out of Madrid, Spain. Why? Brexit. We never know what's going to happen. So they actually have to import it here and then distribute it through their own channels. And it's only going to be distributed by Amazon anyway. So it entered into the European Union through Madrid, Spain, was distributed all over Europe. And ta-da, we have that. Which is much of a shame, but we really don't know what's going to happen with Brexit. So they had to cover all the bases, and therefore almost all the different Scottish distilleries now have some type of subsidiary in a European country. For example, Ireland. My Balvenie 1509, for example, batch number 6 here, tune number 6. It was actually in Ireland. Yeah, so why not? They are using Madrid, Spain. Why not? All right, the same thing here. We can actually see all that information here in the box if you really take a look at the bottom. Look how much information is there. On the old boxes, it was much cleaner. It was much easier to read, yeah? But now we have to have two lines on two different places where it's made and where it's distributed. Going on to the freezer, the whiskey. This is actually very nice. Now, don't think White Walker. Think Auchentoshan Sauvignon Blanc. Now, this is a summer experience for me. If I'm in the summer, I put the whiskey into the freezer, let it be there for a couple hours, take it out, pour the drinks, and in the summer you have a nice chilled drink. And the really great experience is while you're tasting it, it warms up in your mouth and it actually expands. The flavor profiles are awakened. And it has that transition, and it's a very, very, very nice experience. Same thing you experience with wines that are chilled. Sauvignon Blanc, maybe 8 degrees Celsius, maybe around 48 degrees Fahrenheit, and it warms up in your mouth, and it creates this wonderful explosion of flavors. Very, very nice experience. Same thing here. Now, it's winter. 2019, 2020 winter. This is not, I don't want a chilled whiskey in the winter. I want this in the summer. Even here, if you look at the box, you see here a skyline. The new, where is it? Auchentoshan Dark Oak does a much better of this expression of the skyline. You can actually see this happening here. You can see the church, and you can see the bridge, and so on. You just don't even see it on the white, on the dark blue, on the or the light blue on the white there. But here on the dark oak, you really get the great impression of the skyline. They want to be more urban and so on. Maybe had to do with the release. I think this should have been a summer release, but maybe Amazon wasn't fast enough. Maybe they weren't fast enough in the new design. Who knows? Maybe they didn't want to wait. Maybe they thought, hey, chilled and winter mixes together just fine. In my personal opinion, it doesn't. It's a summer whiskey. It's a good summer whiskey. I'm going to actually give this a C++. Value for money, I'm going to give it a solid C. Come on, 35 euros for a 47% ABV Auchentoshan triple distilled with a white wine finish. Come on, this is good stuff. I'm not really sure if I always want to put it in the freezer. I'm not going to do that. So what does it say here? It says Bourbon and Sauvignon Blanc oak casks. Distillery manager is Francis Connell. I haven't met him actually. I need to do that. And this is a nice Auchentoshan. If you don't know how to say it, they actually have it now in every single box they actually provide here. Good. As I said, it's a C+, and for value for money, it's a solid C, going up to maybe even a B-, but that's a little bit too much for this whiskey. With ice or also chilled, not great, but it might be a summer experience I want to do again. My question of the day is what Auchentoshan, my question of the day is, what wine finishes do you know of that are actually in oak? If you don't know of any of them, talk about your favorite Auchentoshan experience. Is it our expression? Is it the three oaks? Is it the heartwood? Is it the springwood? Is it the dark oak? Is it the 3? Is it the 18? Is it the 21? Is it the 12? Is it, what do you have that you really like from Auchentoshan? Or if you're the wine expert, tell me what type of cask you know of that actually harbor white wine, at least for a while. WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American, talking about rare and exotic whiskeys you might not ever see in the English-speaking world. So sorry, but that's the case sometimes. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, tell others about this crazy guy over here, and maybe share the video as well. All the best. Bye-bye.